Twin 3 teenagers will be the victim of dating violence. The abuse can be both emotional and physical, and sometimes it can be fatal. In 1986, 15-year-old Jennifer Crompton, a vivacious athletic honor student, was stabbed 63 times by her boyfriend because she wanted to break up with him. Jennifer's mother was unaware of the abusive relationship until her daughter was murdered. Now her mom, Vicki Crompton, wants to help other parents, so she's written Saving Beauty from the Beast. Vicki, good morning. It's nice to see you this morning. Your daughter was truly the kind of child every parent would love to have. Fun, smart, athletic, vivacious, a happy, happy child. You two are very close as well.
I certainly thought that we were. We talked about a lot of things, and she shared a lot about what was going on in her life. So I would say, yeah, we were close.
And you talked about a lot of difficult things. You had very frank discussions about sex. Right. Many parents don't have that relationship with their children.
She was open with me about that, and so I was pretty shocked to find that she wasn't open about everything that was going on in her life.
In fact, it wasn't, as we mentioned, until after she was murdered that you realized the extent of the abuse that her boyfriend was doing to her. How did you find out?
Well, I found out when I came home from work and was told that Jenny was dead. I came home to this scene of the ambulance and the fire truck and just blocking my street. And that's when I first found out, and that's when the pieces started to fall together. Jenny had never mentioned that she was being controlled or abused.
To you, but she had talked to her friends. And when you started putting the pieces together, you were able to kind of put the puzzle into a big picture that was more clear. It's sort of shocking that her girlfriends knew various elements. Tell me what they knew.
Well, they knew everything. They knew about his threats, and they knew that he had been physically violent with her a couple of times, and they knew about the controlling behavior, but they only talked among themselves. No one told any adult. And so when I pieced it together, I mean, I was just appalled. And I was also appalled to find out that it was pretty common in the high school, that they didn't think it was really a big deal. Those are their words. It's not a big deal.
You now counsel parents and girls also to what to look for in relationships and in boys and young men who may be violent, may be abusive. I was surprised to read the kind of girl who becomes a victim. I would have thought it would be a weak girl, maybe a loner, someone who didn't have a lot of close, intense friendships, who sort of glommed onto a boy. That's not the case at all.
No, and it used to be, we believed that. And it always bothered me because I didn't see that described Jenny at all. But in writing of this book, we have discovered that it's the accomplished young women, the girls who are very active, have close relationships with their parents, you know, good students. But what the key is that they still want that boyfriend, and that's what drives them.
You list some warning signs, and I want to go through them for parents. You say, first, the relationship is intense. What makes it more intense than any sort of teenage love affair, which can be pretty intense?
Well, I just think it's so fast. First of all, it happens so fast, and they're so young, and it's typically her first boyfriend, so there's no experience there. But, you know, this checking in with you, this possessiveness, that intensity that you don't really usually see among teenagers.
You say the girl can become distant and secretive. How do you break through that secrecy on the girl's part? I mean, is it okay to go through their room, read their diary, snoop through their stuff?
Well, we advocate that. We think that that you need to be very vigilant as a parent, knowing that they're not going to tell you and that they're going to keep this, you know, very silent, that it's really up to the parent to watch and to find out what's going on.
You mentioned that Mark was always checking in on your daughter, always calling her, showing up inappropriately at family events. You also say that something that parents should look out for is if the girl drops activities or becomes less interested. Did that happen to Jenny?
I think that he was trying. I think that Jenny did resist that because her friends were very special to her. But typically you will see that they become isolated and they draw away from their friends, and many times their friends just get kind of tired of it, and the friends will leave because they don't like him, and they're trying to tell her, and she won't listen.
Parents, I think, have a reaction that's sort of okay, we forbid you to see him, which you say is really the wrong reaction, and it's not going to work.
And it's very hard to tell parents not to do that instinctive thing, which is to rush in and protect your daughter and to forbid the relationship, but we have found that it just drives your daughter further away.
You say have a safety plan for your daughter. whether she's in any kind of relationship or if you suspect it's a particularly violent one?
Or if you suspect that it's one of these controlling relationships and you're seeing some of these signs. And we recommend a cell phone if you can, some way that she can always get in contact with you, and to really talk to her about your fears and the things that you see, and that you just always need to know where she is.
And I think most of all, keep the lines of communication open. That really is the critical part. Vicki Crompton, thanks for joining us this morning. It's really a terrible and tragic story, and it's wonderful what you've been able to do out of that. Thank you. You can read an excerpt from Saving Beauty from the Beast on our website, today.msnbc.com.